Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commissioner, with the Super Bowl recap for the 2015 ForrestLand MishMash fantasy football season. First of all, I want to congratulate Temmie for winning the championship. I want to wish everyone a happy new year, which is in just a couple days. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I'm on my couch doing a casual update this week. I don't think you guys will mind. So, congratulations to the Chicago Travelers and team owner and general manager Temmie Anju. First championship in the league after being in the title game the first 2 years, 2008, 2009. He finally gets the championship. Much deserved. As you can see from our final score, not only was it the closest game we've ever had in the finals, but is also the first one to go over 200 points apiece, which is pretty amazing. So this definitely goes to show that we had the two best teams in the league fighting it out, especially if you look at points for. No crazy anomalies with someone with with very few points overall sneaking in and winning the championship. As you can see, the top scorer of the league was third in Oolong, and third was Chicago Travelers, just behind Graceland. So the Travelers made a late run for points, and obviously was peaking at the right time. So much deserved. A little bit of tough luck for Graceland, who led the league most of the year. Not only does she not get the championship, she also does not even get the third place finisher. So let's take a look at the game. This was probably one of the best games we've ever had in fantasy. As you can see, lots of points. Now, Temmie did have a lead pretty much the whole day, but third and Oolong just would not go away. So if we look at this here, we make it a little bigger, we see that the Saturday night game, we had a big 4-touchdown performance for Kirk Cousins, which negated Jordan Reed's 34 points. And Jordan Reed had the first 2 touchdowns of the game. So at one point, Jordan Reed had a 10, 15-point advantage. Kirk Cousins got 2 garbage touchdowns at the end that were not to Jordan Reed. So they ended up netting 3 points more than Jordan Reed. So that was Saturday night. That was sort of the appetizer. And then all the other games were either Sunday morning, early afternoon, or Sunday late afternoon. We had Frank Gore, who's not had much of a season, get 2 touchdowns for Indianapolis. We had Julio Jones having a monster day. Makes you wonder what the heck the Falcons were doing all year, not making the playoffs when they beat the Panthers and have a really good offense. So not sure what they did all year, but in fantasy, Julio Jones gets a big game. The big upset by the Jets, Brandon Marshall, huge game there, 32 points. Mediocre for Sammy Watkins, same with Zach Miller, but did both get double digits. Those were the early games, and then going against them in the early games, third and Oolong had Cam Newton, who probably had his lowest fantasy point total of the season. If we look, coming off 48 points the week before, 41, 26, 17, 35. Easily the lowest since week 1. So that's got to be the disappointment there. Give the Falcons defense credit. Again, who the heck knows what they were doing all season. D'Angelo Williams had an amazing game and a loss for Pittsburgh, so 34 points there. DeAndre Hopkins did a lot like he did all year. That was later. And then we already mentioned Jordan Reed. So Temmie built up a big lead early and held on tight at the end with Aaron Rodgers getting sacked all over the place. He only had 8 points. But in the late game, and I'm going to give the MVP to Tim Hightower because what a start for Temmie. Look at this guy's stats all year. Tim Hightower, I didn't even know he was still in the league. He was on the Cardinals for years. Whoops, wrong button there. Check out Tim Hightower's numbers this year. He didn't play in the first 9 games, had a mediocre 46 yards in week 10, didn't play week 12, had 1 carry in week 13, had a decent game 14, so he had 1 touchdown and 85 yards coming into the last 2 weeks, didn't do anything that week, and look what he does in the Super Bowl for the Saints against the Jaguars. 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tim Hightower is going to get the MVP, coming out of nowhere with 32 points. He needed almost every single one of those points. Um, they also had Aaron Rodgers, again, not doing so hot in the late game. Also, James White had a garbage touchdown. Not a garbage touchdown, but didn't do much and had a late score to get the 13 points there. And that's pretty much it. You'll notice, luckily, he didn't need the Cardinals' defense, which had 32 points. And they get 221 points. Again, a valiant effort by Third and Oolong with Blake Bortles with 4 touchdowns. Allen Hurns, I believe, had 2 touchdowns, 106 yards, 8 catches. The only thing that killed was Denard Robinson, only had 6 catches for 20 yards. There's another guy on Jacksonville who's also Robinson, and he had a 95, I think, longest play from scrimmage all season was Allen Robinson, had a 90-yard pass, but alas, Third and Oolong had the wrong Robinson, had D. Robinson, not A. Robinson. Still, a bunch of late touchdowns by Blake Bortles made it close. I wanted to wait and post this to see if there was any scoring variations, which there were not. So the 221-218 title game holds up for the Travelers. Again, a much-deserved win. I was nervous. My team was out of it. I was nervous for these guys. And Third and Oolong made a valiant effort to keep it close late, but couldn't quite get over the top. Cam Newton, again, was the big thing. You know, Matt Ryan obviously would have scored more points, but you can't fault her for not putting Cam Newton in. And, of course, who would think that you'd win a league and score 221 points and only get 8 points from Aaron Rodgers? So, congratulations to the Travelers. We do have a consolation game, which was also close, low scoring but close. That came down to the Monday night game. Ray Finkel outlasts the Graceland for third place. As you can see, not a lot of points for either team. Ray Finkel, in spite of not having Odell Beckham in, being too lazy to put someone else in, Odell Beckham got suspended. Did get 16 from Emmanuel Sanders, and I think that was it. Got just enough Monday night from Sanders. Meanwhile, Graceland got A.J. McCarron with 13 points, and there was one. And Demaryius Thomas with 12 for 25. Needed a couple more. Again, Ray Finkel's kicking academy, in spite of not having Odell Beckham on suspension, gets just enough from Emmanuel Sanders, and they get third place. So let's take a look at the final standings. And, of course, we'll see the final 4 in order. We have the Chicago Travelers, who, as you can see, had a lot of points against this season. So nothing to be ashamed about with an 8-6 record. You had Third and Long, who just came up short, even though had the most points in the league. And Graceland just fell apart a little bit at the end, and they end up in 4th place, and Ray Finkel gets 3rd place. So, and yours truly, of course, in 9th place. One of my worst, possibly my worst finish ever. So not a good year for the Stallions, but a great year for the Travelers and Oolong. And thank you again for putting up with me and not putting up a recap every week. I will try and do better the next time. We had a little drama late in the season with the message boards, but no worries. I hope everyone's back next year. No one's kicked out of the league. No one's on probation. Everybody's welcome to come back. And I hope everyone has a happy new year. And this concludes our 2015 ForrestLand MishMash Fantasy Football season. See you in 2016.